Perfect timing.
I was gonna say good morning, but we are in the afternoon.
It is 1 o'clock, so no longer morning.
I'm sorry.
Not a
How are
problem.
you doing today?
I've been really productive this morning. Like I cleaned, made breakfast, I had lunch. Feeling pretty good. How are you?
I got up at noon, so I'm still waking up. I just made myself breakfast, a little
Nice.
bagel with an egg, so I'm gonna be munching while reading.
Absolutely love that for you.
And speaking of reading, what are you reading?
I am hoping to finish The Blind King's Wrath so that I can start The Kiss Quotient.
Okay.
Hi, what are you reading today?
We got some Witcher.
Nice. Is that which one is that? Is that the first like in the actual series?
It's like the second short story collection.
Oh, there's more than okay, there's more than one.
There's two and then there's six books in the series, but they're all like pretty short, which is nice. Like they're
Okay.
not crazy. So they've been actually pretty easy to read. I spent literally half of my month reading Ship of Magic because the live show was yesterday.
Oh, right. How'd it go?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I loved it. I thought live shows would be super stressful, especially with people I don't know. I'm lucky we did ours first
Yeah.
and kind of got over that nervousness and like they're fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So and then yeah, we're gonna have one for this, obviously. So I need to finish that, and then I'll probably finish it on stream. I'm guessing during our sprints,
Yeah.
because like I don't have like a ton to go, and then I have my other pile of things beside me. So lots of reading. I'm hoping to get done today.
Ooh, I want to read that. I actually want to like read all of the Avatar series. I just don't own them yet. So,
I was
event.
gonna say I thought that was the Avatar one.
Yep. Yep. Super exciting. I am where am I at? 93% into The Blind King's Wrath. So,
So you'll probably finish it during sprints,
for sure. I'd be surprised if I didn't, honestly.
and that's the final one, eh? Like you got the arc of the final one, so you're finishing up the series.
Yep. Yep.
How are you feeling about it?
Uh, I'm not loving it, honestly.
Not as good as the first book?
No, not at all.
Mhm.
And it feels really drawn out. And I don't like slow burn in fantasy. Like if I know that there's like a big battle that's supposed to be happening or something, like I want to get to it and I want to get into it. And like even in the midst of battle, there are like these parts with certain characters where like we're going through all of their thoughts about everything that's ever happened in their life. And I'm like, no, like give me the battle sequence, like what's happening on the field. I don't care about anything else. So yeah, I'm like ready to do a series on trilogies with disappointing endings because that's been like my life the past year and a half. So
I mean, I feel like trilogies are so difficult to get perfect because no matter what, I feel like someone's going to be upset. So authors usually
oh,
just do
for
whatever they feel
sure.
like, and then it just goes downhill.
I feel like the only trilogy that I've read recently where I didn't hate the ending was the Poppy War.
Scythe, I didn't mind Scythe either.
Okay, and I didn't love the ending.
It was not what I expected, but
Yeah,
like it could have been a lot
it definitely could
worse.
have been worse for sure. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like Kyoshi, so I'd be excited to read that one. All right. How long do we want to sprint for the first one?
I'm good for like a little 20-minute sprint. That sound good to you?
Alrighty, let's see. 20-minute timer. All right. Let me share my screen and do all the things.
That way, in case people join a little late, it won't be like a super long one, and I can just
True,
hop
true.
in for the next one.
That is very true. Right. All right, everybody. Happy reading. All right. How do we do?
Pretty good. Good. Ripping through this. 20 pages. And I had to stop and go wash my hands because my breakfast was
How was breakfast?
fantastic. Thank
Good.
you.
How far into the book are you?
I'm just under halfway.
Are you liking it?
Yeah. It's so I've played the third video game, Witcher 3, before I started reading the series and I absolutely fell in love. The story is just fantastic for it being what seems like a typical fantasy world, kind of medieval. It's really, really interesting.
Mhm.
And then the short stories are not only to give context to characters in the world, but some of them are based in fairy tales, which is really fun, but like with a twist. And they're about like morality. And it's interesting because like it's written in like the 90s. So like yes, there's a lot of casual sexism that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of really innovative things that I don't think fantasy was seeing at the time. So I can see why it's such a beloved series.
All right.
I fuck with
Hello. Hi, Vina.
it.
Sandwiches are good.
That's a mood.
I got 2 chapters done. So, like, the battle is happening, but I feel like it's just still taking too long.
Just want to get going with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know how it's going to end, but I don't know. Overall, it was not an enjoyable reading experience, so I'm a little sad about that.
That is sad because I know how much you absolutely love the first book. It feels like a City of Brass situation where like first book is
Exactly.
stellar and then it just
Yep.
nosedives.
That is exactly how I feel.
What did you give the second one again?
I gave it 4.75.
Okay.
There was really only one character that I didn't like, and we spent a lot of time with that character. And then I don't think anybody here knows what I'm talking about. So that character dies, and I was like, so why did we spend so much time getting chapters from that perspective? Because it felt like it didn't matter, you know?
That's what I was about to ask. Like, is it worth it in the third book to have spent time with that character? But I guess not.
So,
It's just rude. Make you sit through all that for them to die.
yeah. Then again, this was supposed to be a longer series, so maybe like certain things were taken out. I don't know.
So you think you can tell that like there was more threads started than they had time to finish?
Yeah, so if I'm correct, I believe that this series, well, no. Okay, so this was supposed to be like a 9-book series, and for whatever reason they cut it down to 3. So I'm not sure what the plan was exactly, but because book 2 is like a parallel timeline to book 1, I thought maybe there were going to be more of those and then everything converges at the end, you know? So I feel like it was just a little rushed, but at the same time like really drawn out, which I don't know if that makes sense, but like I don't feel like this book needed to be as long as it is, which is kind of how I felt about Empire of Gold as well. Finished the, oh yeah, what did you rate it, Vina? Because from the updates, it wasn't going well.
The Witchery, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I think Vina has an arc. It doesn't come out until this summer, but it was one that I was going to pre-order because it sounded really good. And then Vina was telling me about her reading experience, and I was like, I don't think I want to read this anymore. So, fun stuff.
It looks like fun. It looks like a fun like summery spooky read from what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a debut.
Yep. But I don't know. I might not read that anymore. How many prompts do you have to finish?
Oh, I finished Bunny. I totally forgot that I read Bunny.
Oh, yeah. How was that? I forgot about that.
People warn you that it's weird, and like you expect maybe like the writing, because like when I started Gideon the Ninth, like that writing was weird to the point where like it was difficult for me to enjoy it. But this is like very easy to read. It didn't take me long. It was super, super short. My ebook version was like 260 pages. Like it's
Oh, that's not.
nothing.
Yeah.
And it's really quick to read. But the turns that it takes are so out there. And like I can't tell because so it's set in like an elite arts college.
Yeah.
And so you think it might be like dark academia. It's not. It's more of how did I oh my god, I wrote it down because I was struggling how to describe this. My Year of Rest and Relaxation meets The Secret History meets Mean Girls a little bit. Like it's just chaos.
Interesting. What did you rate it?
I couldn't.
Ah.
I had no idea because kind of like my Year of Rest and Relaxation, I was like, do I like this? Does it matter if I like this? Because there was some really interesting themes of because they're in this like elite arts college and a writing program, and they have this class, the main character and the four bunnies, where they're all like critiquing each other's work, and it's all like this really weird postmodern post-feminist stuff, and it's like you're sitting looking at it, you're like, this is objectively bad. But in academia, you know how people tend to like, oh my god, you're so innovative and amazing. So it was like really interesting from that perspective, but like, was it good? Question mark. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. God. Ooh.
Really? I was so looking forward to that series.
So is Kat, apparently.
Okay, have you seen those covers, Ray?
I have, yeah.
They're spectacular.
Yeah.
I was so excited. Wow, from 6 to 2.
Yeah. And they could have done more with the magic school. True. All
Magic
right.
School is always a good one.
Were you planning to read Hunger of the Gods soon? I know Kat said she was.
That's the sequel to Shadow of the Gods, which I need to read.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not going to read it soon because the series is ongoing.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in the middle of like 40 series.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to because I know that like the author's fantastic, and the reviews for Shadow of the Gods were great last year when it came out.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one, so I'm surprised that the second one didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah, I was looking forward to reading that, but like I have so many things to read that like it wasn't like on my radar right away, but I was kind of keeping an eye on it because like the reviews for the first book were like across the board really good, because I know his first series, Malice, gets really hit or miss reviews, and from a lot of reviewers I trust, like some people love it and some people like could not even finish the first book. But Shadow of the Gods had overall pretty good reviews, so I'm so sad.
Yeah,
seems I'm the only one that doesn't like it.
Okay, maybe there's hope.
Feel free to tell us what you didn't like about it, because I'm a little bit curious. It's always, I mean, sequels are tough, I find, because for a lot of people, and myself included, like a lot of the time the first book sets such a high standard. Again, they gave a bad trilogy. First book was so good. So good.
Brass was amazing.
I could see like what you're saying about your current read. The fact that like the pacing is off makes a lot of sense because of how much you enjoyed City of Brass, because the pacing in that book was like fantastic.
Yeah. But like, okay, just to put this into context, the battle that I was talking about, like the battle that you know is coming, like it's a definite thing, doesn't happen until like 80%. So this whole time I'm just like, okay, everybody's at this one place. I'm like, okay, every key player in this battle is all in one location, so let's get to it. And then there were like little side things happening, and it's like, oh, let's jump over here and see what these characters are doing, and then we'll go over here and see what they're doing, and then they have an encounter, and I'm like, okay, shit's about to go down. And then like they're separated for whatever reason. I'm like, come on. Okay. Sweep of Stars. Ooh, yeah. I don't know about space opera for me.
I'm like fiercely Googling everything that she's talking about. I haven't heard of these, but I'm interested.
I don't know if I would like space operas. I'm not really into space in
No.
general.
I feel so stupid reading space battles. I'm like, what's happening? Where are we? I want to get into it though. Like I really want to read what's that what fudge? I put it on my yearly TBR and I forgot. Oh, A Memory Called Empire.
Mm,
Because it's
mhm.
called a space opera, but it seems like political because it's like someone who goes into this like capital city in space to for like a political thing. But then when she gets there, she finds out that her predecessor died and was possibly murdered. And I'm like, I love that kind of plot. I've heard really good things about that series. It has a show now too, I think.
Oh, does it? Oh, wait. I think I know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know it's on a book though.
Sweep
Um,
of Stars.
there's this girl on TikTok who has been like recapping every chapter of Deepwater. And so I was watching those this morning, and then I guess the movie just came out. So I think I'm going to watch the movie for that later today.
Deepwater. Psychological thriller. I feel out of the. Was it a book first?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you just said chapter by chapter. Duh. Sorry. Sorry. Clearly, I'm half asleep. I do love a good psychological thriller. Have you seen, speaking of chapter by chapter recap, I don't know if you've seen My Name is Marinez's recaps of House of Sky and Breath?
Yep.
Oh no, it was Earth and Blood first, I think,
House
that
of
she was gonna maybe
Earth and
do.
Blood. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, she kills me. And if anything, it makes me want to read the book more. I mean, all the hype has been getting to me, I will say. Because
I
like
think
you gave it to me.
if if you didn't read that book, I honestly would not be offended. But I think Rachel made a bingo board for it. So it's just like every time like she says one of the male characters growls or other weird shit that SJM apparently does a lot. It's really funny.
I was thinking of making a reading vlog anyways, because it's such a big book. I feel like there'd be a lot of content to like
Yeah,
shit post with.
I feel like it'd also be a good drinking game.
Now that you say that, I want to find Rachel's bingo board
I'll find
and
it and send it to you
you're amazing. Thank you.
because I saw it and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then I watched her review and I was like, this is funny.
She was on the live with us last night, the
Oh,
live show for Ship of Magic, and like she's so quiet, but everything she says is comedy gold. I'm like, I really want to be your friend. You're hilarious.
I love Rachel. She's awesome. Okay,
She just has this like interesting insight into books that like I don't know what it is. I love listening to her talk about
oh,
books.
same. Yeah, me too. I love all of her videos, even if I'm not like interested in what she's talking about. I just like hearing her talk. Vina, we know you're not reading anything that's over 800 pages or over 500, probably, really.
I respect it, Self-care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How long are we thinking for the next sprint?
Let's do a longer one.
Are we thinking 30 or 45?
I'd be down for a full 45. Just
Me
go
too,
nuts.
honestly.
Yeah?
I could use it, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. I'm really hoping that I can finish this book in this next sprint because I'm kind of just ready to be done with
It sounds
it.
like you're really close, so you got this. 45 of like uninterrupted reading is
Yeah,
a long time.
I feel like there's no way I can't finish it, right?
Oh,
Alrighty.
don't set yourself up for failure.
Wait, what?
Don't set yourself up for failure. You got this.
All right, everybody. 45-minute sprint. Happy reading. All right, give me 1 second. I gotta go get my coffee.
Take your time.
I hate when it does that. What the heck?
You gotta turn the autoplay off.
Oh yeah, probably. Okay, there we go. I feel like Robin's timers lead me to the most random things. Okay. How did we do?
Really good. That went by so fast.
It did, and I really needed that 45.
Did you
So,
finish?
I did. I did.
And
And we're sitting at a 2.5, 2.75. Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah.
It did not resolve in a satisfactory way.
The ending was satisfying, but it's the way we got there. Like,
Fair.
I genuinely did not enjoy like the middle, just like the entire middle of the book. Like, even when the battle started, like that was too drawn out. Wasn't really feeling it. And then in the beginning, like we pick up right where we left off in the first book, and then like you know that everything's going to come together, that all the storylines are going to converge. So I was like, okay, great, I'm really excited about this. And so like the first few chapters were good, and then like he hit like 20%, from like 20 to 80, just way too drawn out. I really wasn't into it. So
That's too bad.
Yeah. How's The Witcher?
Oh my god, it's so good. Dude, I'm sitting here giggling like a madman. I did not expect it to be so humorous, but there's one character who he reminds me kind of Wylan, in that he flirts with everyone he sees. He doesn't take anything
Jesper.
seriously. Sorry, Jesper. Yeah. Sorry. Jesper, because he flirts with everyone he sees, does not take anything seriously except for his skill. In the book, his name is Dandelion, and he's a bard, so he like sings and composes music. So he takes his art very seriously. But there's one scene I literally was like almost crying because Geralt, the Witcher, was like, "Your fiance's here. There could be trouble." And Dandelion's like, "Fiance? Which one do you mean? I have several." Just like, man, you dog. I don't know. It's so funny. And this one's a lot less serious. Like, there's a lot less monster hunting, which a lot of people were kind of complaining about. But I love the characters. It's kind of like a found family because, like, in this world, witchers and sorceresses are infertile because of the transformation they go through to become like magical. Right. So they can't really have a family or like even really a wife technically, because a wife would want kids, right? So they kind of find their own little family everywhere they go, and it's really, I don't know, it's really sweet.
Sounds like my kind of people.
Not your kind of book, I would say.
Probably not. And it's funny that you said that because I started reading The Kiss Quotient, and like from the first sentence, I was like, this is not off to a good start, because it opens with her parents being like, just so you know, we want grandkids. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come from? And I'm like, nope, not a fan. So we'll see how that one goes. Oh, Never Too Late. Hello, welcome. What are you reading? Okay, I think I've seen, okay, yeah, I know that cover, 608, that is a lot, but you can do it. We have faith in you. It did go by fast. It really did. Yeah, sorry. I'm not loving The Blind King's Wrath, and I'm very sad to say that. Dark Magic Divine. Ooh, I have not read that. I'll have to look into that. And for which, is this like a booktube book club or a in real life book club? But yeah.
Would you still recommend the series as a whole, The Burning Throne? Or whatever I don't know what the series name is.
It's the Burnt Empire Saga. And yeah, I would still definitely recommend at least the first book. So, which is kind of how I felt about City of Brass too. I was like, I hated Empire of Gold, but I am absolutely going to continue to recommend City of Brass because it's awesome.
The whole series was like, the sum of the parts was better than the individual books.
Yeah. All right. Discord.
And
got it.
Desperately Googling everything everyone's talking about.
I know, right? This is like the best way to learn about new books too.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the Kiss Quotient, so I'd be very curious to see. Yeah, honestly, it's so good. I love them.
I didn't really get into The Witcher, but my boyfriend was watching. Was the most recent season 2? Yeah, he was watching part of it, and I was reading, but I was like kind of paying attention, and I was like, I don't think it's for me, but it looks interesting.
It's definitely weird because the first 2 seasons are based off the short stories.
Interesting. Okay.
So they kind of it's I haven't watched the show yet, but like from what I get from the short stories, it makes a lot more sense written than it would, I would think, for the show. I also don't love Henry Cavill, great casting. We absolutely love him. I don't agree with the casting for Yennefer and Ciri, and maybe it's because I played the game and I envision them completely different.
Which one is which?
Yennefer is the black-haired witch.
Okay.
Ciri is the white blonde-haired, like younger girl.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing them both, but I don't know their names, so I was like, I don't know who's who.
If you get a chance, look up how they look in the video game in Witcher 3. Because they look, I don't know, maybe I'm like super biased, especially Ciri is so, she's supposed to be like this like descendant of I think elves. Like she has this kind of elder blood in her, so she looks kind of otherworldly. She's got like a big scar on her face in the game. If you saw Rachel's video on the
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
That's what Ciri looks like.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, oh, I don't watch that, so I don't get the reference, but okay.
No, so she took the photo of Ciri from the game, and that's how I envision her.
Yeah. Because the actress in the show doesn't have a scar, does she?
I guess that comes later in the story.
Okay. Yeah, but you're gonna watch the show, right?
I would like to, but we know how bad I am. Still haven't finished Shadow and Bone.
Oh my god.
I haven't sat down and watched a TV show in ages.
I know
other than
your thing, but Dasha.
I know.
Goodness.
I know. It's embarrassing. I literally only keep up with Drag Race. That's it.
Drag Race, of all things, that's the one thing you watch. That's hilarious. What season
religiously
are they now?
14.
Jesus Christ. They're going to have more seasons than Grey's Anatomy. Watch.
I mean, it's a reality show. Reality shows always have a ton of seasons, to be fair.
I don't know. It wasn't a good start, but I'm gonna push through solely for the sake of completing this prompt. That's it.
Which prompt are you using it for again?
Marjorie.
Yeah. It's funny because I see so many people say like this book literally like changed my life. It's one of the most precious things I've ever read. And some people are like, this was so problematic and terrible. I'm like, how can both be true?
I don't know. Because I hadn't heard any bad things about this one. I heard mixed things about the second and third. So I wasn't sure. I love how your mom was into it and you were like, eh. Actually, I think my parents watched it too. Because my dad was like, have you seen this? And I was like, yeah, it's based on a book. He was like, is it good? And I was like, define good. I was like, it'll get better when the crows get into their storyline, but it's okay.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like sometimes I want to watch it, and then I remember certain like really cringe things, and I
Yes,
was just like,
like all the cringy things that like happen between Mal and Alina, like they made Mal likable in the show, which is like
mhm.
baffling to me. I'm like, okay, cool. If only Lee Bardugo had thought of that before. I mean, the Darkling's still weird, but I mean, everybody just likes him because he's played by Ben Barnes. So good for her.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, well, then I feel like there's no reason for you to keep watching.
Well, the
At
crows
this
I thought were the best part of it.
Well, yeah, but if she doesn't like Six of Crows, then she's not going to care. Like, I'm watching it at this point to get to the Crows storyline. I feel
Mhm.
like if you don't like the Crows or Alina and Mal, you're just not going to like it at all.
Because I don't know why I remember this, but I remembered that scene where Jesper was like hooking up with the stable boy just for them to like show that he's bi, which was really freaking weird. And I was sitting there thinking, like, that was so cringe between that and like the racism they sprinkled in. Why? It still
Mm-mm.
gets me.
Mm-mm.
It takes me out of the story every single time because I'm like, this was so unnecessary.
It makes literally no sense. I didn't hate it. I like Six of Crows more, so I'm just waiting for the heist to happen. But to that point, the racism was completely unnecessary, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing that you could have done.
The series initially is one of those fantasy series, which is rare, that does not have fantasy racism. And it's like, okay, great, we've made a world where it's not a problem. But then to make it palatable for American audiences, we've added it. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
I don't even know. And it's like, and it's been unaddressed this entire time within the show and by the cast and Lee Bardugo. And I'm just like, what was the point?
Lee still hasn't said
Not
anything
having to
about it.
add racism to this. No. I mean, someone said that apparently she couldn't talk about it because like some part of her deal with Netflix or whatever. I don't really care. There was no reason to take a show that did not have any racism and add racism for the sake of adding racism. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like we don't need that. Like if
No.
like it just doesn't make any sense because then also like I have an issue with the fact that they made Alina biracial solely for the focus of her dealing with racism, but
Mhm.
then apparently Mal is also biracial, and all the racist comments are only directed at Alina.
You can just have them existing peacefully, just for
Like,
this,
there's
like,
already conflict between the different countries and all of that. Like, we didn't need all of the unnecessary comments and
no,
whatever. Like,
no.
the endless microaggressions were, it didn't add any value to the story. It was really stupid.
No.
Exactly. Because it hasn't been addressed by anyone.
No.
So,
And I feel like Alina had, like, I actually thought she had so much potential when I was reading the series that I felt like in the show, it could have been a really good opportunity to see her. I don't know. I feel like she could have had a better arc on the show dealing with her own issues
mhm.
aside from the added racism. So it's like, I don't know what was the point, because she has enough things to deal with and figure out. She's feeling inadequate because of her powers, and like, she's an orphan and she's dealing with the Mal and the Darkling thing, and possibly saving the world. Do we really need to add like schoolyard bullying
Nope,
to it?
not at all.
But I will say though, the new cast additions,
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Toya and Tamar,
I know, but
I
then
might
like I'm
have to catch up.
worried. Now I'm worried about how people are going to treat Toya and Tamar too. So
That's true. That might be something. I don't know. I'm hoping they maybe fix some of those issues.
that's what I'm
Seeing the
hoping
fan
for
reaction.
too. Like maybe the addition of Toya and Tamar will like cause for them to finally have a discussion, but at the same time, like it still wasn't needed.
No, no. And it's not like we have to have a discussion about it for us to know, like for the audience to know that it's wrong. But it's like,
Exactly.
if you're going to include it out of nowhere
Hmm.
because it didn't exist in this world until you added it, then I think it is necessary to at least have some kind of, I don't know, closer examination of it because it's
Yeah.
just so weird.
Yeah. And then, like, even with, for the sake of not spoiling anything for anyone who maybe hasn't read King of Scars and whatever, the other character that we later find out is also biracial, and the way that that story ends, and how it was just like, this is a part of this character's life, and then the position they end up being elevated to, and everybody's just like, nope, totally fine, we're just going to accept it, and we're ready for you to take control here. And it's just like, okay, so if you have all of that going in the background, like, cool, that in and of itself could have been a conversation. But then doing all of this to Alina, it's like, where's the logic? What are we getting out of this?
There
What
is
value is
none.
this adding to the show other than pissing people off?
That's why I'm scared to watch I was scared, like knowing that Wheel of Time was coming out, because yes, it's a 90s fantasy, but from what I understood, it was very classic fantasy, as in, like, there wasn't a lot of, I guess, like modern discussions and themes. It was much more in terms of like the big adventure and the hero and all that kind of stuff. And I was kind of worried that, like, especially because it's also like a big streaming company, that they would try to make it, I guess, like, I can't just like, I don't know how they justified adding the races into Shadow and Bone, but I thought it was possibly because they wanted to make it, I don't know, relatable to Americans. I don't know. I have no idea. But I was worried that they would do that to everything after.
As a Black woman in America, no, thank you. Like, I don't need, like,
No, I know you don't. Nobody needed it.
exactly. Like, I work at a predominantly white institution. Like, there are constant conversations that I have to have with certain people about things like this. And it's like, this doesn't make it relatable. This just adds to the shit that we're already dealing with in real life that we didn't need in a TV show that we were excited for, simply for the fantastical world that it had. Like,
The escapism that it was supposed to represent.
exactly. And then there were issues with Inej's stunt double, and how
I forgot about that.
I can't. I'm so tired. I'm tired. So I'm still gonna watch season 2 just to see like how it goes, but again, I don't really care. At this point, I kind of just want to see what happens, which is kind of like my attitude on a lot of things. Like, I did not like Legendborn, and at this point, I just want to read the second book just to see what happens.
Oh my god, I was perusing, I heard someone was talking about it on Twitter, so out of curiosity, I went onto Guru Gossip because I was like, okay, everyone like talks about it. And I know that's like a whole thing on its own, I found out. But people on the book Twitter thread were talking about how there are Black books that are not for Black readers. And someone linked your review of Legendborn, was like, she's talking about it. Thank God someone's talking about it.
This
Because
is the second time I've ended up on that fucking site.
Really? Hopefully
Yes.
it's positive context.
No, the first time was because I retweeted something that Bethany posted. Apparently, Guru Gossip hates Bethany and Rachel. I'm friends with both of them. So I got thrown into the conversation somehow. I don't know. It's there's so much drama on that thing, and I didn't even know it existed until Rachel was like, "Hey, have you heard of this? Cause you kind of got mentioned in it." And I was like, "What?" And so she's like showing me everything, and I was like, "This is fucking hilarious to me, honestly. Like, I don't really care, but thanks for letting me know."
It's funny to see how salty. Like, I saw that there was specific threads for specific booktubers. I'm like, this
They
is
hate
excessive.
It's so funny.
But there's like a whole thread for books with Chloe, who like I personally I'm
Really?
not a fan, but I can understand like why people would like. She has like a fantastic video quality and like there's a lot of good things about her. She's just not my cup of tea. But people on that thread were like, she's so stupid and vapid, and I'm just like, oh, you don't even know the girl.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Exactly. It's completely unnecessary. And that's part of the reason that I didn't like Legendborn. I was like, this is not what I expected here. But apparently Vina and I are the only two that don't really like that book, so
I know you mentioned that the love interest was threatening to kill her, but what was the what was like that one specific instance? Because like you mentioned the just general like threats, but there was one thing that was like, wasn't it like cutting out her tongue or something?
yes. Yes. He literally said to her that he was going to rip her tongue out of her mouth. Yep.
There's so many layers to that. None of them are good.
Yep. Yep. You, me, and Jess. Just the three of us. I really don't understand and everybody loves that character, and I guess he's the one that she's supposed to end up with. And I'm like, I understand that people can like, like I like enemies to lovers, but there's no way that the first time I meet you, you're aggressively grabbing me in my face, threatening me, and then for the next 6 times we meet each other, you are still threatening me in some way, threatening to kill me, threatening to do this and do that. I'm like, there's no way that that is going to turn into a romance.
No, no
Like,
way.
I don't understand how out of everything that he has done and said to her, I'm supposed to root for them to be together. I'm honestly baffled. I really don't get it. Yeah,
Oh
he
my
said
God.
he said that he would hand her over to like the regents of the order or whatever, and he was like, and I'll let them. In a nutshell, he said, I'll let them experiment on you and figure out like why you can see the things that you can see and all this other stuff. And I was just like, nope, no, thank you. I was like, this is a huge red flag. I don't understand how nobody else is catching this. It's really not it. There's literally what, 4? Bree, her dad, Patricia, and Mariah. 4 Black characters in the entire book. We're talking about Legendborn and how much I hate it.
It's funny because Book Talk loves to hold that book up and be like, I read Black books.
I know, right?
Look at me. And it's like that's the only one. And it's
Yeah.
knowing what I know now, because no one's talked about the things you have.
Nope.
But those are massive red flags.
Huge red flags. And it's so funny because I feel like Book Talk and BookTube have like moved away from The Hate You Give, which is all about like police brutality and Black trauma. And they're like, oh, well, now we're reading this fantasy book with a Black girl. And I'm like, it's still rooted in racism. There's so much racism and trauma in that book. It doesn't make up for it.
That's true.
Yep.
Especially given that the love interest was a white man.
Both of them are white.
There's 2. That's right.
And they're both white. And I didn't know that going in. So I was like, wait a minute. What's happening here?
Oh my God.
Did you see the TikTok that what's her name made? Red Queen author. And she got dragged for filth on TikTok because of that.
What happened? Victoria Aveyard, I think, is
Yes.
the Red Queen author.
Yes. She made a TikTok something about like how like her books don't include sexual assault, which is great. That's fantastic. However, a lot of people were like, yeah, that's fine, but like shitting on authors who do that and it's a cathartic process for them because of their own experiences, like, like maybe don't shit on other authors who have done that for whatever reason. And I don't know, it was this whole thing. And then she made an apology. And of course, people in the comments like, you don't need to apologize. And it's just like, I swear there's so much drama on TikTok now. Like, I'm just like, I don't care about any of this. And I don't know if you saw the other drama that was happening for like a week straight where it was nothing but that on my For You page. And I literally was like, oh my God, I can't.
Which which one? There was the Piper CJ drama when she was going after reviewers, her and her editor. There was
Oh, right.
the woman that was like, read Crime and Punishment, stop reading
Oh, that,
YA.
yeah, I remember that. And then there was the Lance and Chelsea thing, which isn't even book talk. And I don't know why it was on my For You page.
I
There
don't know
was,
that one.
oh my God. Okay. I'll find one of the TikTok recaps and send it to you. At one point I was scrolling like just my For You page and literally like for 10 videos straight, it was nothing but Lance and Chelsea. And I was like, I don't care. I'm here for books and food. And Robin was like, I'm going to start sending you food TikToks so you can get back onto that side. And I was like, please, because I don't know how I got here.
There's so much freaking drama.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
She's, yeah.
She actually,
Yeah. And I'm so glad I sold that entire series. I'm so glad I don't have it anymore.
when I started on BookTube, I really wanted to read it because I was like catching up on older videos from like popular booktubers, and everyone's like, Red Queen, the selection. And now seeing it on Book Talk again, I'm like, please move.
I almost read the selection too, and I'm so glad I didn't. Oh my God.
I don't feel the FOMO anymore for it. I don't care at this point. There's so many good things to read out there that to go back to those series, I feel like I'd be wasting my time. And it's not like I'm phasing out of YA, but it's not that I dislike YA.
Yeah.
Like I will 100%. Raebear is the best young adult series I have ever read. There's some good ass YA out there. I'm just not going to wade through 2013 bullshit anymore to find it.
Oh yeah,
Because it's
for
not
sure.
going to be there.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't think I'm like phasing out because there are some that I still really love, like Raebear and Iron Widow, but at the same time, like there's no way I would ever go back and like read The Selection or any of Veronica Roth's other stuff and whatever. Yeah, I can see that. That is not something that I would think you'd like anyway. And everyone's like, it's like The Bachelor, and I'm like, I hate The Bachelor.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. What the hell? Oh God. I feel
like behaving badly. You think
yeah, I was just about to say that. I feel like it just gets worse and worse.
I feel like it's blurred. So I don't know how caught up you are with like general YouTube drama, but I love YouTube drama. I follow a lot of the commentary channels.
Okay.
And I remember when Gabby Hanna released her books, there was a huge drama because there was another YouTuber who reviewed it from a poetry standpoint. She was like, this is not really good poetry. This is lazy. It kind of feels like tweets put into a book. And Gabby Hanna proceeded to call this woman a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist abuser. And it was just like, everyone was like, I know this is your first foray into like putting your art out there, but once you charge people for your art, you have to expect criticism. Reviews are not for the author. Say it with me, they're for the readers.
Right.
And I just remember because that was everywhere. Like it was huge YouTube drama because Gabby Hanna went off the absolute, like she went off the rails. And at first people thought she was having like mental health issues. So they were kind of being like nice. And then she was like, no, I was just trolling for attention. It's just like, okay, so you're just being rude to another YouTuber because you want attention.
Wow.
And you're not able to take criticism.
Wow.
And it's just like, people don't, how do you, if you charge people for your art, you're going to get criticism and that's okay.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the whole like Lauren Huff and whoever, like everybody's not going to like your shit and that's fine, but like stop seeking it out. Like you know that everybody's not going to like it. And yet you put yourself in a situation that just makes you look stupid because you went and looked for something that wasn't for you anyway. I hated the ending. I don't care. Go back and reread. What happened at the end? I'm just out of general curiosity.
That's what I
Oh, it's
thought when
not?
I.
Oh, everybody compares it to that.
Well, because it's a competition to get the hand of the prince for marriage, but like realistically, you know that the main character is going to end up with him, I think.
Aren't there how many books are in that series? There's like at least 4 or 5, right?
There's an original trilogy and then like two, three more.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Because, you know, money grab.
Exactly. And I hate that too because what was I reading? Shatter Me. And then she extended the fucking series. And then I was gonna read her husband's the Peculiar Children thing, and then he extended that one, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. And then there was something else too. Oh, Cassandra Clare, fucking Mortal Instruments. That was unnecessary.
I hated Miss
Nope.
Peregrine's Home.
Nope. We don't do love triangles here. Except in Iron Widow. It's the only time that I will acknowledge a love triangle.
Wasn't that one like polyamorous?
Yep.
Which made it more fun.
Yep. Yep. And
That's how they should be.
Wasn't super cringe. I didn't read anything. Oh, okay. There's water. Nope. No, thank you. That doesn't sound good.
No. The only exception I make for that, like extending a series rule, is like Robin Hobb, because they're like different trilogies following different characters.
Yeah.
But like once it's clear that the story is finished, leave it there.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Shall we do one more sprint?
Probably. We've been chatting for a while.
Yeah, we've really been talking like a lot. Wait, what? There's a singer from America. Okay.
Wild America.
Interesting. Okay. How long?
I know we're like approaching 2 hours, but I'm down for another like half an hour.
I could definitely do a quick 30-minute. Should I finish like getting my review for The Blind King's Wrath together, or should I start?
Do you write it right after finishing books? You don't like sit and marinate?
Well, that's what I started typing up my notes. And then I was like, let me walk away for a second. And that's when I started reading The Kiss Quotient. But like I'm pretty set on my rating at this point.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I want to hear more of your thoughts on Kiss Quotient, but that's just me being selfish. So okay. You do you.
I'll read The Kiss Quotient and we'll see how that goes, because I really don't know if
I'm so curious.
To be fair, it's only been like literally the first half of the first chapter, so I'm not that far. But I don't know. It just didn't start off well. It was just like, what is happening? This does not sound good.
No, it sounds a little, but I feel like that's going to be like the point, because from what I know, like she's dealing with, I think she's on the autism spectrum, what I remember. And she's like dealing with her life and then like with her cultural and parental expectations. So hopefully it gets addressed.
Maybe I should have poured a glass of wine instead of made coffee.
You know what? That's a good idea.
Oh, all right, people. 30 minutes. This will be the last sprint. And then the next sprint will be Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST on Robin's channel. But yeah, happy reading. This is the last sprint of the day, so let's finish strong, I guess. How'd we do? All right. Um, I started tabbing Kiss Quotient with red flags every time somebody said something that I found either cringy or annoying. And so far, I have 7 of those in the first chapter. So that's how that's going so far. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I didn't realize. I was saying, did you not hear that the whole time when I was talking about my book too?
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. Rewind. How's your book?
It's good. I finished up a short story that I started in the earlier sprint, so we're making progress. That's really white. There we go.
Yep.
Progress is being made. I was just saying in response to yours, like, oh, maybe a drunk book review in your future.
Oh, probably for sure.
That many red flags is a red flag.
Yeah, because like remember, I think it was during Origin Story, I was reading the Boyfriend Project and I was like, I'm not liking it. But then I ended up liking it and I gave it 4 stars. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping it's one of those situations, but who knows at this point.
It's not a good start though.
Not at all. Not at all. Definitely not a good start. Hello, Dragon Legend. What's that?
25 pages. It's pretty good.
House
Pretty
Stark.
good.
I feel like House Stark is one of the most competitive in our Discord.
It's honestly, the different houses was such a good idea. Whoever suggested that, like, I love you because it's been so fun to watch everyone talking like about their books and about the prompts, which is good because we were thinking of doing something with the houses in the future more competitively. So
yeah, I think people are going to be really excited about that. 25 pages, nice. Nice.
Everyone's doing good. I love to see it.
Yeah, that was it was good. I mean, not reading experience wise, but
holy cow, Targaryen's popping off in the Discord. Damn.
Oh yeah, they're in it. They're in it. So I think if we do make
Tyrell too.
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. We are.
Look at y'all. I love it.
I think originally I wasn't sure if people were gonna if we were gonna have people in all the houses.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I was definitely a little worried about like some of the lesser houses, but I feel like because there are such different prompts in all of them, and a lot of people do choose based on prompts rather than like actual. I don't know. I feel like most of the time, like no, like I'm gonna pick what I actually like, but sometimes you see the prompts and you're like, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm glad it worked out for everyone. It seems like everyone's found stuff for the most part.
And because I didn't read the books, like I don't really feel attached to any of the houses. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna bounce around and wherever the prompts take me. And I feel like you and Robin have been true to your houses so far.
Very attached.
Yeah.
Deep attachment issues.
I was worried about House Greyjoy because of the one prompt from someone's worst of list. I thought maybe that would deter people, but they're going pretty strong. So,
well, that's a fun one because if you watch people's like worst of the year list, sometimes super hyped books end up on that list, so people still have the opportunity to read it.
Yeah. So that's fun.
I like that one. I like that one because like you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I agree.
I also saw that you finished While Justice Sleeps, right?
Yep.
What did you think?
I I think first of all, I read it. I listened to the audio, and I would probably recommend reading it physically or a blended read with audio and physical because it is a lot of information.
Okay.
And it's not that I enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. But there were like I didn't feel connected to the characters. That was one of my issues. But like the thrillery mystery part of it was good, but at the same time, kind of annoying because like so this Supreme Court justice is in a coma and he's left all these clues for our main character, and I personally did not understand some of the clues, so I don't know if I'm stupid or if like it just wasn't for me. I also think that a part of my enjoyment was lowered because I listened to the audiobook and I didn't like that the author would put on accents for certain people and they weren't good. So it was just like, oh, I wish you hadn't done that. I wish you just kept speaking in your regular tone because it was kind of uncomfortable. And every time she did, I was like taken out of the story. I was like, oh no, that doesn't sound good. Okay, thanks, Kat.
Thanks for joining.
For anyone who likes spreadsheets, Kat has a really good reading tracking spreadsheet. It's like very detailed too.
Okay, furiously searching. I made my own this year, but there's like, I don't know. I'm struggling to keep up with it because sometimes I'm just lazy and I don't really want to go through it.
Really, that's like one of my, I don't know, maybe I just like, I don't know. I feel like accomplished when I put a book in the spreadsheet.
I feel like my problem is I probably should have incorporated Copile right into mine because I still use Copile when I'm not sure what to rate a book. And this year, G introduced 0.5 star ratings into Copile. And like sometimes it's based off your heart. Like maybe the book is actually closer to a 4 star than 3.5.
Right.
But like, or rather, okay, so it like averages out what you put into it, right? And it counts 3.5 stars as being closer to 4. But sometimes it's 3.5, but closer to 3, if that makes sense. So like sometimes I just rate with my heart anyways.
Yeah. So like if quarter star ratings were introduced, would that make it better? Or
I can't use quarter star ratings because I feel like I can't describe it, but I feel like that makes less sense to me. I just have an aversion to the quarter star. I don't know what it is. It's like it's not visually appealing. And when I say it, I feel super nitpicky. But like it makes sense, and like especially like when you describe things and you say like it was not quite a 4 star, it was 3.75 because of this. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but I can't bring myself to do it. I never said I was reasonable, right?
Okay. I'm gonna send you Kat's tracker to look at though.
I just looked her up. I'm gonna take a look.
Okay. You found it?
I did see the fantastic bingo board you sent me, and I am so excited to incorporate it into my eventual vlog for that book.
I think that you and Robin should just go ahead and buddy read it.
Robin's still planning on reading it?
I think so.
Oh. That would be fun because this seems like a lot, especially because I like watching My Name is Marinez's recap of it. She drinks every time the word door is mentioned.
I know.
And I thought it was an exaggeration. I was like, okay, how bad can it be? It's like 3 times in one scene. That's just bad writing at that point, methinks.
Yep. I love it. I think it's hilarious. And I know Rachel is planning to do her review of the second book. She made a bingo board for that one too. And if Marines does the chapter by chapter for book 2, I'll stay tuned for that too. I suggested
Oh,
something to her on TikTok and she goes, no, because then I'll just black out. And I don't remember what I said, but I was like, okay, that's fair. I guess you're drinking enough with the door references.
Door, and then the description of like ethnically ambiguous people who are all golden.
We love that. Don't we love it?
And what was the other thing? I think anytime like a main character's hair color was mentioned, because that was weird.
Yep.
I feel like there's just so much. I might have to make my own list and like drinking game.
Oh yeah, do it. Do it.
And like incorporate it, because you know what the worst part is? It's like I genuinely am almost excited to read it now. Because of not just the hype of like everyone reading the second book, because like genuinely don't really care. Hype only gets to me because I'm seeing people like Marinez and Rachel shit on it, and I'm so excited. I'm not gonna give Miss Mass any of my money, but I got the book, so I sure as shit am gonna go through reading it.
I put in the money for you. Who else read it? I think Joshana read it too. Maybe, and I think she reread it and she was like, red tabs are when I'm annoyed. And then she like showed all the red tabs she had in the book. And I was like, it sounds about right.
Oh yeah, now that I have it, I'm like, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to dissect this book. If it's an hour-long vlog, it's an hour-long vlog, because I'm sure there's going to be issues given that it's her first adult book, and some of the things I've heard are just so weird.
Is
And
it
like
that's her first adult? I thought
her first like labeled as adult.
Oh, so is the whatever the fuck the long ass acronym series supposed to be YA?
ACOTAR is technically like young adult. With the fourth book, they've now moved it into the adult category.
Okay.
It was never really appropriate for young adults, if I remember correctly.
Right. That's the Fairy Dick book, right? Like, how did that? Okay. I have questions, but okay.
It's because her writing and her characters and tropes are very young adult, but she inserts explicit scenes that are typically not appropriate for young adult audiences, from what I understand. It might also be because I know women in publishing have a harder time getting their books viewed as adult. I wonder if that would play into it. But I also got the vibe from ACOTAR. You haven't read it, so like, you know, yeah, like Throne of Glass was definitely YA.
For sure.
ACOTAR felt YA, except for
there was sex,
explicit scenes. I can't remember. I think there was like one at some point in ACOTAR, and it like, I mean, it was somewhat explicit. She uses a lot of euphemisms for things. It's just so awkward to read.
Yeah. I feel like Rachel talks about the euphemisms a lot. Like, don't say that.
Velvet wrapped steel, and just like what?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Call it what it is, or fade to black. I don't.
Yep. I
don't know what it gives me the, as the kids would say, it gives me the ick.
It gives me the ick.
I don't like sex in books though. Like I got no issue with it in theory, but like I don't. Yeah. I'm baby. I don't want to see that. Are the books that you and Robin recommended to me?
They're Fade to Black.
Okay. Because you gave me the right swipe, right?
No.
Roomies? The Trouble with Hating You.
Yeah, that one.
There we go.
And I think Robin gave you, did she give you Roomies or In a Holidays?
I think she told me with Christina Lauren to do Roomies, but she also said the right swipe. I wrote them all down. We were planning for the readathon.
Yeah.
But Trouble with Hating You is Fade to Black?
It is Fade to Black. I don't know about the right swipe because I haven't read that one yet. I have it, but I haven't read it. And then all of Christina Lauren is Fade to Black, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Thank God. I'm glad we're not starting off with like BDSM erotica. Thank you, ladies.
Because we were like, okay, like what, like where, how far can we take it? And you were like, I don't want on-page sex. And we were like, okay, that's doable. That's easy. I mean, if you hadn't said that, you probably would have hated whatever we recommended.
Were you gonna give me Desperate Measures?
I thought about it. And I knew you weren't gonna like that one though, because even from like the first chapter, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm gonna keep going anyway.
I would trust you guys to give me something with a genuinely good relationship. I actually am kind of almost interested in reading Alyssa Cole because of how good the thriller was. The name's on my tongue.
When no one is watching.
Yes, because her character work was impeccable.
Her character work is good. So I have that whole series, and I like pretty much all of the relationships. There is an issue in A Princess in Theory, the first book, that's gonna piss you off a little bit, because it's like, it's not like mistaken identity. It's like this dude is straight up lying to her, and you're like, bro, just tell her the truth. Like, tell her why you're here. And it takes forever for him to do that. But otherwise, the relationship, the romance, there's sex in those though, like on page.
I feel like I should probably read it. 'Cause, like, since Robin gave me two, I feel like I could get two from you. So like if there's one that you would recommend above the others, maybe.
But no one is watching was, I liked it. I know Vina doesn't like it though.
I thought it was one of the best thrillers I've ever read, actually, in terms of like pacing and like actual like psychological thriller aspect. I thought it was so well done.
Yeah,
The end was action movie-y.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's
That's why I think I want to do like a not really a vlog, because I don't really do vlogs, but I want to read some books that have been like psychological thrillers that have been turned into movies and kind of like compare them.
Mhm.
So I might do that eventually one day.
It'd be fun.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
it'd be
think
good time.
yeah,
Especially seeing like the difference between the two.
exactly.
It's like, what was one I really wanted to read? Oh, Shutter Island. I know the movie's become like iconic,
Yeah.
but I heard that the book is actually like nuts and like go into it blind and read it. And I've been kind of interested. I think it's more horror, like psychological horror.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking forward to that one. But I haven't read a thriller in a while because I used to listen to them a lot on audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go anywhere these days.
True.
So I've been mainly reading other stuff. And I've been let down. I feel like thrillers are so hit or miss. I think you've seen it too recently with like some of the mysteries you've been reading that have just been like really disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cozy mystery thing is not going well right now. So, but I'm gonna keep trying.
I respect your resilience, like you getting into romance and the cozy mysteries, even though you had a lot of like disappointing ones and pitfalls. I feel like overall, it's impressive that you still want to try. Because I would have given up.
I
I
feel
don't know how
like
you do
the
it.
concept. I like the concept, so I feel like there are so many cozy mysteries. I feel like there has to be at least one that I can read and not hate. But what was it? Death by Coffee? Awful. Awful. Would not recommend.
Have you seen that book going around on TikTok? It's called Kane's Jawbone. And it is so someone found this book. It was published in like the 20s or something, and then it went out of print, and then it was brought back.
Okay.
And it is a set of mysteries. I think there are 6, but all the pages are jumbled.
Oh.
And you have to use context clues and put them in order. You haven't seen that?
Mm-mm.
I thought it was the coolest thing. I kind of want to do it and make like a murder wall and like do the red string and everything because it looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. Do you enjoy those like when books have like puzzles for you to solve, or would you rather just be taken on the journey?
I don't know. I feel like maybe I could try it. Will I enjoy it? That's a whole different story. Who knows? I don't
Fair.
know. I don't know. I guess it depends because like with While Justice Sleeps, like the riddles in the book like didn't make sense to me and I was like, I don't, because they were like chess references and I was like, I don't understand
Mm,
this. And so that like no, but like trying to figure out the killer and then there were none, that was enjoyable. But it depends. It yeah. I don't know. Maybe what's it called?
Cain's Jawbone, I think. Is
Canes.
in like Cain and Abel.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like out of stock everywhere because like one girl made a TikTok about it and it blew up and then everyone was buying it. And like I haven't seen it make its way over to BookTube yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I want to try? But also I
Yeah, bring
value
it up.
my mental health.
I value
Well,
it.
apparently like only like 3 people in the world have solved it. It's that difficult. Like you can mail the company that publishes it for to check if you have the right answer, but it's apparently like a headache to solve, which is like even the pages have little like dots where you cut them out so you can like shuffle them. Yeah, Emily Fox has seen it.
Okay.
It might start making its way over to BookTube.
Maybe. I mean I'm intrigued for sure. I don't know. I feel like I gotta dedicate time to this. I'm gonna wait till like I'm like done school if I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
try this.
That's the problem. I just got accepted to grad school, so I'm going back to school in September.
Yay!
And now I'm worried about my reading time and mental health. But hey,
Um. Mm-hmm. Yep. I am my first of all, my motivation for school, like each term, my motivation goes down further and further. So then this term, I knew one of my professors because he was my old boss. And I was like, look, that paper I turned in last night, it's not going to be good. I'm just going to let you know right now. Because I'm doing my research capstone and I literally changed my research project 4 days before the third draft was due. And like, I was just like, first of all, we shouldn't be taking another class with this one because it's so time consuming. But then at the same time, I also just don't care. And then next term, I have to take a class that has nothing to do with my major or my concentration. And I'm like, the only reason I'm taking this class because I know it's going to be easy and I like the professor. But I don't care anymore. I am ready to be done.
you're over it.
For all of it to be done. This has been the longest 2 years of my life, and I'm good. You can keep it. I'm tired of paying money for this, and I'm over it.
Fair. And like I remember Robin was complaining too last time we talked about it. She's like, "Do I need to do this now?"
But good luck to you. Have fun. I hope you enjoy it. Like, don't listen to me and Robin because we're really making it seem like it's the worst decision ever. It's not, I'm sure. But right now, like in the middle of it, I feel like this is stupid.
No, that's totally fair. I'm sure I'm gonna be like over it like I was partially through my undergrad. I was like, why did I do this? I could have just gone to college and just done something different and more practical, and I would have been done with it by now. But no, I guess not. I'm looking forward to it though, because I all the programs I applied to were international affairs, so more opportunity for international exchange, which is going to be really exciting.
Are you
And
are you taking classes in person?
I hope so. Our
Oh, great.
universities are kind of flip flopping, and everyone's really frustrated because our province is much more strict than all the US and a lot even Canadian provinces. We
Interesting.
just loosened vaccine restrictions for restaurants like 2 weeks ago, and our mask mandates are slowly being lifted as of Monday.
Ours too. Yeah, this past Monday, like the mask mandate was pretty much gone. And so like I'm going into places that, like with my mask on and nobody else has a mask. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. This is weird. And plus I work with college students, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep wearing my mask to work because I don't trust you. I don't trust any of you.
I wouldn't. No, fair. Yeah, I was floored. I was walking around Texas and like no one had a mask, and then it was just like me
Oh
and
yeah,
my whole fam.
because you were in Texas.
Wild West still over there. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were really strict. All of our university is still online from what I heard last till the end of this term, which ends in April.
Okay.
So hopefully by the time I start, because I might have to take a summer class to get it, like to get fully accepted into one of the programs, my top choice. Like I'm hoping it's in person because I feel like it would really suck, especially for grad school because I'm taking course load option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to write a thesis or research paper.
Fair.
Not for me. So I'm hoping, especially for masters where it's a lot of discussion based classes, that I could be in person. But who
Yeah,
knows?
that's yeah. I think because my program was online anyway, like I didn't care because I mean I started in September of 2020, so like everything was remote anyway. But at this point, I don't think I'd be able to go back to in-person classes.
Really?
Uh-uh. Because it's like I graduated from undergrad in 2016, so I had like 4 years in between before I went back to school. And the thought of having to sit in class in person, just nope, I don't want it.
That's fair. That's interesting because like I feel like most people want in person classes,
Oh, for sure.
but given
Absolutely.
that you had the break, it makes sense, I
Yeah.
think.
And also like I was like the person who like didn't want to go back to the office after quarantine because I was like, no, I'm good. I love working from home.
See, I'm with you there. They're trying to justify our rent, like because I work for the federal government and we have a lot of buildings downtown, and they try to justify that. And they're like, we're going to send you all back in 1 day a week at first. And it's just like, I can do my job from home just fine. Thanks.
Yeah, my stepmom works for the city and she has not been to the office in 2 years.
Mhm.
And I think they're planning for them to go back eventually, but she's like, for what? Like at this point, we've all proven that we can do our jobs from home. Only reason I have to go back in is because I work in a student facing office. So like if students are
Mhm.
back, I have to be back. But also, I'm like, I don't know. So we're on break week right now. Um, and like I said, the mask mandate was lifted, except for like, so I work in a student center. So technically our building is mask optional, but like classrooms, the mask is still necessary,
Mhm.
whatever. But students are going to be traveling for spring break. And then when they come back, I'm like, how are we going to handle that? Are we gonna, because when we came back this term, we did the first 2 weeks remote and then they went back in person. So I'm like, okay, people are traveling now. So what are we gonna do? Like, what is the first week of spring term gonna look like?
A mess.
Pretty much. That's exactly what I'm expecting.
Because everyone went to Florida and was in those big groups on the beach and like not being careful. No
Yep.
way.
So I don't know. I don't know because like the city is lifting its restrictions too, and I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about it.
It's gonna be interesting. At least you know what? Like if you feel better wearing a mask, which I absolutely like would do the same thing around a bunch of college kids.
Yeah.
Like at least you know that you're doing what you can to not be dragged into all their nonsense.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because like when I'm around like coworkers, like we were required to be vaccinated and everything. So like fine. But college students, nope.
So your school didn't require them to be vaccinated to go on campus?
They did, but so yeah, but like everyone had to have their booster by I don't know. I think the deadline was sometime last month. And then I was watching the news and they're talking about a second booster shot. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like what? Because if we're going to need to get another booster shot, why is the mask mandate lifted? Especially with like right before spring break, when you know that everyone's going to be all over the place, whether they're traveling out of the country or just across the country and then coming back. And it's like, so how are we going to combat this when everyone comes back? Like, what if we have an outbreak? What are we going to do then? Because like none of it makes sense and everything's so up in the air. But at the same time, it doesn't really seem like we have any clear direction. And even in the emails from the university, it's just like, we're going to play it by ear and we'll let you know a few days beforehand. And I'm like, this is not really helpful, but thanks, I
Do
guess.
American Airlines not require a negative COVID test to board your flight?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Wow.
One of my stepmom's friends is a flight attendant, and she said that, well, the last time that I talked to her, and this was a while ago, but the second that the masks were mandated, they stopped social distancing on the planes. So then, like, all these other issues that came after that, and now with the mask mandates being reduced, like, I don't really feel like anybody really knows what they're doing anymore.
Because which I personally don't agree, but even to fly inside of Canada, you need to be vaccinated and show a negative COVID test. I think the vaccination requirements for flying within Canada are personally like sus because you shouldn't be limited to flying within your own country. International travel, I could kind of understand. The US requires a negative, no, not even. I don't think the US requires a negative test for entering. It's entering Canada, you need a negative test. But
Yeah.
flying on a Canadian airline, you need to have a negative test. Flying out of Canada to the US, I had to do a test. I had to do a much cheaper one. It was just like a rapid test. It cost me like $40. It wasn't too bad. But flying into Canada, you need like a PCR that costs like 300 Canadian. It's absolutely wild. But like I'm shocked that maybe flying, across states, maybe a negative COVID test to get on the flight would be a good idea.
Doubt it. Nope. Why would we do things that make sense, Dasha? Come on now.
Fair.
Things work in America.
I sometimes am very thankful I do not actually live there.
Fair.
Y'all are crazy. I'm not saying Canada has no issues, but like the US, I feel bad for you guys because you guys are all just trying your best.
We feel bad for us too. Yeah. Yep. Fun stuff.
It has been 3 hours. I don't know if we wanted to let the good people go, since we've kind of gone wildly off topic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, that was definitely the last sprint, folks. Yeah, I'm tired. I need to film actually too, so there's that. But thank you all for joining us. I hope you all are enjoying your reads, unlike myself. And we're almost to the end, so I hope you guys are getting through those prompts.
It was really fun to chat with y'all.
As per usual.
Yeah, good times.
All right, people, have a great day. Don't forget to keep us updated on your reading, how you're doing with your prompts and your TBR. And the next YouTube sprints will be on Robin's channel, which is Robin Reads, on Tuesday, 2 p.m. EST. So we'll see y'all then. Bye, people.
Bye, friends.